Hi, welcome back to Life with R&R. I'm Rebecca and we're going to do another What's for Dinner this week. The first recipe I am going to be sharing with you is an Instant Pot Marry Me chicken. Works great for quick weeknight dinners and tastes so good. And then you can serve it all sorts of ways. You can make a pasta and put it over pasta. You can make rice and put it over rice. Or if you're trying to do a lower carb option, I am actually going to just massage some olive oil, salt, and pepper on some kale, and I'm going to put mine over kale. So for this recipe, you're going to need chicken. I'm just using the chicken breast tenderloins from Sam's Club. You're going to need salt and pepper, minced garlic, butter. And for these kinds of recipes, I do use the real butter. You're going to need some chicken broth and some, it says cayenne pepper. I don't have that. I'm going to throw some red pepper flakes in mine. And then I just use the combination seasoning. I like the Italian seasoning, so that's what I will put in mine. I will link to the recipe in my description, so you'll have the undeviated recipe. We will need some red bell pepper. The roasted red bell peppers is what it called for, so that is what I got. Some heavy cream. I like to have this one. It's shelf-stable cream that I get from Trader Joe's, and that way when I do need it, because I don't use a lot of it, it's always here. Some cornstarch, which I forgot to pull out, so I will grab that. Some grated Parmesan. And then it wants some bacon crumbles. So I'm just going to use this, cook my bacon, and go ahead and chop that up. So I'm going to use my food scale and measure out about 2 pounds of chicken. Mine is frozen, so I'm going to defrost it just a little bit in the microwave, which isn't preferred. I wish I had set this out ahead of time, but we will make it work. So I've got my chicken, and I'm going to go ahead and set that to defrost and be right back. Now that my chicken is defrosted, I am going to pat it dry and add some salt and pepper. Sprinkle it on, and we're going to do that for each one. And then you're going to get your 2 tablespoons of butter, and we're going to go ahead and place that in the Instant Pot once the Instant Pot says it is hot. And we are going to go ahead and brown these about 3 minutes on each side. We'll get that swirling around first. And then stick these in. The chicken is gonna cook up in a little bit. We really just want it to brown. So about 4 minutes probably is what it's gonna take on each side on the saute function. It's been 4 minutes. I did go ahead and turn the chicken over to brown the other side. Sorry about the steam. And added a little bit of more salt and pepper to the opposite side. So in 3 minutes, we're going to take these out and remove them to another plate. We're going to go ahead and remove the chicken now, and then we're going to add 1 tablespoon of garlic and go ahead and saute that for about 30 seconds. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and put in the garlic, and we are going to stir this for about 30 seconds. And then we're going to add our 1 cup of chicken broth. You don't want it all sticking to the bottom. So we're going to stir in our 1 cup of chicken broth. We're going to scrape the bottom, and then we are going to actually turn off the saute. Make sure there is nothing stuck down here. So once that's ready, we're going to go ahead and add our chicken back to our pot. And add some seasoning. So I'm just going to add my teaspoon of my Italian seasoning right over the top. We're going to go ahead and cover the Instapot. Make sure it is set to sealing. We're going to do manual, and it says 3 minutes. So we're going to go ahead and set this. We're going to let it cook for the 3 minutes. We're going to go ahead and release it, and it's going to release naturally for about 10 minutes, and then we'll go from there. I do want to mention, while that is cooking, I'm going to go ahead and start our bacon and have that ready for when this is done. I'm going to go ahead and get our bacon into the microwave so that's all ready to chop up and use when the chicken is done. 3 minutes are up, so it says to let it naturally release. So I'm not going to hit the venting. I'm just going to let it naturally release for 10 minutes, and then we'll see what's next. While I'm waiting for my chicken in the Instapot, we still have 6 more minutes. I went ahead and I chopped up all of the bacon, and then I washed up my kale and separated it, just pulled the leaves off away from these thick stems because nobody really likes to eat this part of the kale. So I went ahead and did that, and now I'm going to just give it a little dredge in some olive oil, salt and pepper, and give that a little massage. And then that will be ready to go ahead and plate up. If you do this, it'll make it a little bit more tender and taste a lot better. So we'll go ahead and do that, and then we have 5 minutes until the chicken is ready. Okay, we've hit our 10 minutes of natural release. We can go ahead and take the lid off now. we're going to change this to saute. And then we're going to go ahead and add in our 2 tablespoons of cornstarch. Get all that in there. And then 3/4 of your heavy cream. So that was 3/4 of a cup of cream. And then we're going to get that stirred together. Then we're going to go ahead and we're going to add a 1/2 cup of the Parmesan cheese. It smells so good. I wish you could smell it from there. Stir in a 1/2 cup of the red bell pepper strips. We are going to go ahead and add our bacon. And I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of crushed red pepper. And just keep stirring this. You're going to want your sauce to be a little bit thicker, so you want it to thicken up some. Give this just a few minutes and then we will check on it. Okay, so I've got it to the consistency that I would like. So I went ahead and turned off the saute and I'm just getting it stirred up real good. And I'm going to go ahead and plate this over the kale. Get plenty of chicken and red peppers and the sauce. Harder than I thought, one-handed. And I'll go ahead and get the other one plated up as well. I know the Marry Me chicken part is good. I've never made it over kale, so I have not tried that before. But this is new. It has really good flavor, and I love the added crunch. So if you don't like kale, and you're not trying to be keto friendly or a little bit healthier, obviously this probably tastes better with a noodle or a rice, but this also works, and it's really good. I wasn't sure I'd see you so soon, but my daughter decided that she wanted to make some banana bread and she wanted me to help and figured we'd share our gluten-free banana bread muffin recipe with you. So here we go. For our recipe, you're gonna need 2 cups of this Bob's Red Mill 1-to-1 baking flour. You need 1 teaspoon of baking powder and 1 teaspoon of baking soda, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 3/4 of a cup of dark brown sugar. You're gonna need 3 medium ripe bananas. You need 2 large eggs, 1 stick of butter, and then we're gonna add about 1/2 cup of some mini chocolate chips. We're actually just using these Lily's baking chips. And then it calls for 1/2 cup of chopped walnuts. I'm allergic, so we're gonna go ahead and put some pecans in ours. The first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and preheat our oven to 350 degrees. And then we are going to go ahead and grease our muffin tins. So we are just going to go ahead and lightly spray it with some Pam or butter spray or olive oil, whatever you've got on hand. Next thing we're gonna do, and you can hear our dogs going clippity clop on the tile floor, sorry. They're coming into the kitchen to see what we are dropping. So we're gonna go ahead and get 3 of these bananas into our bowl and get them mashed up. And then we're going to go ahead and add some of the brown sugar. It actually calls for a potato masher, but we don't have one because I always use my mixer. So we're just using a meat masher and it seems to work pretty good. All right, so our bananas are mashed. We're gonna go ahead and add our 3/4 cup of brown sugar. Our 2 large eggs. And our 1 stick of butter. And we're gonna go ahead and mix that until it is combined. No, just kidding. We're also going to add our baking soda, our baking powder, and our salt. 1 teaspoon of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, and that was our cuckoo clock. And then 1/2 of a teaspoon of salt. After we get this mixed up, we're gonna go ahead and slowly start adding our 2 cups of gluten-free flour. We're going to whisk in our 2 cups of flour. Once that's mixed in, we'll go ahead and add some of our chocolate chips and pecans. All right, we've got the perfect consistency. We're gonna add 1/2 cup of chocolate chips and probably about 1/4 cup of our chopped pecans. And we're gonna fold those in just a little bit. She's gonna use a whisk. And then we're gonna go ahead and put these in our greased muffin tin. So Julia's just gonna use this 1/4 cup just to measure it out and put them in the muffin tin. Maybe.
Nah, we're gonna use a scooper.
Hold on just a second. Changed our mind. We're gonna use the cookie scooper. So we'll just use that. It'll be a little bit easier. And then we're just gonna do this and fill them all up evenly. So this went ahead and made 24 of these muffins. These are standard size muffins. Now Julia didn't think they were nutty enough, that I didn't put enough nuts. So she wants to add a little bit of the pecans to some of the tops of them. These will definitely be a lot nuttier. These are all ready to pop in the oven. So we're gonna go ahead and get these in the oven, and they're going to bake for 18 to 22 minutes. Timer went off. We're pulling our yummy goodness out of the oven. They look fantastic. So we're gonna go ahead, let them cool, and then I will take them out of the pan, set them on the cooling rack by themselves. And these store really well in an airtight container for up to 3 days, or you can throw them in the freezer and pull them out for whenever you want them. All right, we are ready to try Julia's masterpiece. Are you gonna try one with the nuts? Get one of yours. No, grab yours with the nuts. All right, ready?
The only one I have to.
Okay, we're gonna try these. Good, super moist, very flavorful. Hope you enjoyed this little bonus recipe, and I'll see you later. Bye. Hi, so for tonight for dinner, I'm gonna be making some super simple chicken enchiladas. It would have been much simpler had I remembered to pull out my chicken and have it cooking, because you can put it in the slow cooker during the day. But since I forgot, another quick way to get it done is to go ahead and take it directly from the freezer into your Instapot. So I'm gonna go ahead and get some chicken started in my Instapot with a little bit of chicken broth and some seasoning, however you like your chicken. Set this for about 20 minutes, and then we'll have some chicken ready to throw together some quick enchiladas. So I'm using the tenderloins. I'm gonna use probably about 6 of them. And I'm gonna wash my hands. And for our liquid, you can use water. I just had some open chicken broth, so I'm just gonna go ahead and use chicken broth. Do my 1 cup. And I'm doing a little bit of onion salt, or it's actually onion powder. Maybe just a little bit more liquid. And then I will go ahead and get this set. And I'll see you back when our chicken is ready. Okay, so my chicken is done cooking. I went ahead and just kind of shredded it real quick. When you cook it in the Instapot, it does fall apart really easy. So I've got my chicken. I'm going to be using these Mission Carb Balance tortillas. I have some of this grated Mexican style cheese from Sam's Club. We have some green chili enchilada sauce. And then I had some extra Parmesan cheese in the fridge, so I'm going to go ahead and use some of that too. And then I went ahead and cut up some onion and then a little bit of avocado too. And a little bit of avocado to go on the top. And then I had a cucumber in the fridge, so I'm just going to go ahead and set that on the side. So I'm going to start just by spraying my casserole dish. I'm going to grab a tortilla. I'm going to get some of the chicken and spread that kind of evenly in here. I'm going to put some of the onion that I diced up. And I'm going to fill it with some cheese, and then I'm just going to roll it up and put it seam down in the pan, and then I'm just going to repeat that until I am out of chicken or out of tortillas. It's super simple. Everyone in our house loves onions, so that makes it nice and it gives it a little extra flavor. And they're super easy just to roll up. So I'm going to go ahead and get all of those in there. It ended up being just the perfect amount of chicken for the 8 carb balanced tortillas. So now I'm going to go ahead and pour my green enchilada sauce over the tortillas. I'm going to get that spread evenly. And then I'm going to use some of this grated Parmesan cheese to put on top. And then I'm going to go ahead and pop this in the oven for probably about 25 minutes. 25 minutes in the oven and you have hot, bubbly enchiladas. I'm going to go ahead and plate them up and give them a try. Okay, here goes. It is falling apart. It's delicious. So you can get these on the table in about 30 minutes if you already have rotisserie chicken ready to go or chicken prepped from earlier in the day. It takes about 5 minutes maybe to dice up some onion, and then I'm gonna throw a little avocado on these and go ahead and give them to the fam. See how they like them. So thanks for joining me for this week's What's for Dinner. I hope you enjoyed these and give them a try, and I will see you next time. Bye.